Hello, my name is Daniela and I own Santosha Yoga and Health, which is a mobile studio that's based in Condado, but I travel around San Juan, and I love to teach yoga in outdoor spaces. So check me out. Santosha is spelled S-A-N-T-O-S-A. So santoshayogaandhealth.com. You can find me there. So today we're gonna work on the pause. So pausing in yoga is really important. It's that space that we need from life to take a break. And quite often we're running around and we're really hectic and we're busy, but we forget to pause. And when we do pause, maybe we are on our devices, or maybe we're not really giving our minds and our bodies a real break. So pausing is really important in that way. And also pausing is really important because once we learn how to pause, we learn to respond in life. So respond with patience and compassion instead of reacting with a knee-jerk reaction. So these are really important ways that yoga can help us in life. So we're going to start lying down. We're going to need a strap for this class. If you don't have a strap, that's okay. You can use a sweatshirt or anything else just to place around your leg. So find something, pause your video, find something like that, and then we'll come back to the mat. And we're going to start lying down. So just first of all, get very comfortable on your mat here. Just pressing your shoulders down into the mat. Palms can be face up, and just close your eyes for a few moments. And this is a really good time to start to pause. So just stopping for a moment. You can let go of anything that might have happened before this class, and let go of anything that might happen after class. And just bring your attention to this moment right here. Maybe take a deep breath in through the nose. And then exhale out through the mouth. Ha! You can make a sound. Just let out any stress, any tension, anything you need to let go of. So let's try that 2 more times. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out through the mouth. Ha! It might feel strange just to make a noise. It's okay, just keep going. Inhale nose. Exhale mouth. Ha! And then just bring your attention to your connection to the ground. Maybe notice any sounds around you. So you're just trying to bring your attention to the present moment, enabling you to pause fully and let go of some of that chatty mind. So you can breathe through the nose here. So we're going to inhale and exhale through the nose and slow the breath down. So deep inhales and exhales through the nose. And just pausing here, and as you pause, staying here, just notice how your body feels. Notice how your mind feels. And notice how your physical body feels. When you are ready, you can open your eyes up. You can bend your knees, placing your feet on the ground here. So they're really feeling the ground solidly underneath the feet, and having about the width of your hips for the space between your feet. Pressing the shoulders into the ground. We're going to inhale here, lifting up the hips and the arms as we rise up here. And exhale, coming down. So really notice that moment between the movement, the pause at the very top of the pose before we come back down, and the pause as we come down before we start to rise again. So you're working with your breath. So there's also a pause at the top of your breath as you inhale. You get to the top and there's a space where you pause, and exhale, letting go. Couple more times like that. Excellent. Feeling the pause here before the next pose. And then you're just going to move the feet out a little bit, as wide as the mat. And then as you exhale, your knees are just going to come to the ground. So you might bring your arms out. Inhale, coming up through center. And exhale, dropping the knees the other way. So just finding a little bit of movement here with your breath. Inhale, up. Exhale, letting go. Again, noticing that pause between each movement. One more time, coming up and over to the other side. Inhaling, coming up, bringing the knees into the chest, giving yourself a really big hug. Life is challenging. Just pausing here and recognizing that it's difficult, having your back supporting yourself here. And then you're going to let the left leg go and hover it. So it's just lifted off the ground. The toes are active. The other knee is coming in. You can give it a little bit of a squeeze here. You can lift your shoulders. You can lift your head. Breathing here for a moment. Deep breath. And notice when we stay in a pose for a while, when we pause, notice what happens in your mind. Does your mind start to wander? Does it start to criticize yourself? Just notice and see if you can just bring your attention back to the sensations in your body. Now maybe lifting up that right leg, and you can reach the fingers forward as you lift. So you're probably going to feel this in your core, and breathe here. Notice how this feels. Where do you feel the sensations? Listening to your body. And then we're going to switch here. Pausing and noticing how this feels. Maybe it's really challenging. Just breathe through the challenge if you can, or resting if you need to. And then bringing the top leg in, you can squeeze it here. And release, just letting yourself go, taking that pause. So there's the effort that we put into life. And then there's those moments where we need to take a really good rest. So allow yourself to rest, close your eyes, pausing for a moment. And breathe. Deep inhales through the nose. Deep exhales through the nose. So now I want you to grab onto your strap or equivalent, whatever you have. As I said, it could be a sweatshirt. You're going to take the right leg up. We'll start with the right leg. And you just wrap the strap around that foot. So your shoulders are resting on the ground. You're just holding. Now you might find that you need to bend your knee or bring your leg down, and that's absolutely fine. You're just listening again to what you need. You can play a game with hovering the other leg if you like. And breathing here, lifting up shoulders and head if it feels good. Deep breaths. Through the nose. Releasing the left leg, releasing the head and the shoulders. We're going to take the left hand and place it on the left hip. And then we're going to try to keep the hips even. So trying not to lift the left hip off the ground. You're going to move that leg over to the right side. So you're opening through the hip here. And breathing. Again, it doesn't have to open far. You're just listening to your body and going as far as it feels good. You want to find your edge, but you don't want to push yourself too far and injure yourself. So just breathing and listening to where your body needs to be. Taking a couple of deep breaths here through the nose. Bringing that leg up through center, and then we're going to cross it over the body. The right arm comes out to the side, and we're finding a bit of a spinal twist. Looking over the right fingertips if it feels good. Taking a few breaths here. Again, noticing how this feels. And for you, maybe the leg is lifted up a little bit. It doesn't matter what the pose looks like. It's working with the pose and breathing into it, just noticing the sensations in your body. As long as there's no pain, you don't need to back off. Breathing here through the nose. And again, noticing in that pause, how is your mind doing? Can you keep your attention on what's happening in the present moment? Inhaling, that leg comes back up. We can bring both legs up for a moment, up to the sky. Just it's like legs up the wall. It's a really nice restorative pose. Trying to keep the lower back pressed into the ground here. Taking a couple of breaths. And then we're going to let the right leg go down, hovering it off the ground, maybe lifting up shoulders and head, the right fingertips can reach towards the right toes. Breathing here. Checking in with how you're feeling. And then releasing the leg, releasing shoulders and head. And we're going to then place the right hand on that right hip, pressing it down to try and keep the hips even. And we're bringing that left foot over to the left side, opening through the hip and breathing here. Again, you can close your eyes, you can notice what happens in that pause. And sometimes we become uncomfortable in that pause because we're not used to spending time with ourselves, with our own minds. So part of this is just seeing if you can sit with yourself, comfortable or uncomfortable, and breathe. Just breathe through it, you can do it. Keep going. Bringing that leg back up. The left arm can come out perpendicular from your body and moving that leg over to the right, finding a really nice spinal twist. It should feel really good. Making any adjustments you need to. You can bend that left knee if it's too intense, straight. Breathing here. There's no right way of doing this pose or any other pose in yoga. It's listening to your body, finding what works for your unique body. Breathing here. Bringing the leg back up. Right leg comes to meet it. Pressing the lower back down into the ground. Pulling those feet in just for a moment. And release. The strap can come to the side. You can give yourself a really nice hug here. Maybe rolling from side to side. And then maybe we're going to roll forward and backwards a little bit here. Working on giving the spine a little massage. And coming back down on the back, we're going to lie down for a moment. We're going to flip over onto the belly. So you're going to turn onto the belly here. Bringing the fingertips forward, interlacing the fingers, except the index fingers can just stay pointed forward. Forehead comes down to the ground. So reaching toes back, fingers forward. And we're going to inhale, lifting up through the legs. And inhale, lifting up through the arms. So you're reaching from the heels all the way to the fingers. Taking another big, deep inhale and exhale here. And release. The left ear can come to the ground. The palms face up. Just let the heels just roll out to the side. Again, working with that effort and ease. We're on the ease part. This time coming to center, you can bend the ankles. You might be able to reach them, and if not, that's okay. You can just reach towards them, or you can just reach back with the legs straight. If you can reach them, pressing back, lifting up, and breathing here. One more breath. And release, this time the right cheek to the ground. Letting go of the palms face up, the heels coming out to the sides. Release. Coming back to center. Fingertips are tenting to the sides, so it's just the tops of the fingertips to the ground. We're going to inhale, reaching up, opening through the chest here. The elbows are bent. Inhale, center. Exhaling, looking around that right shoulder. Inhaling to center. Exhaling, left side. One more time, center here. Exhaling, over to the right. Inhale, center. Exhaling, left. Calming back down, forehead to the ground. You can place your palms underneath the forehead and just rest the forehead down. Breathing here. You can bend the knees and windshield wiper the legs or the feet from side to side, just releasing through the lower back. Excellent, releasing the legs here. We're going to bring the forearms down, elbow underneath the shoulder, calming here into Sphinx pose. So you're bringing the fingers down and you're drawing them towards your body. It's not that obvious. You're just pulling gently to open up through the chest here. Breathing through the nose. And so this is quite a slow yoga flow. And you might be used to doing faster flow, but actually there's something challenging about staying in a pose for a little while. So notice how your mind deals with staying in a pose for a little while. Taking another deep breath. Now there's options here. You can tuck the toes, you can lift the knees and the hips and come up into a plank pose, or you can keep the knees down. So listen to what works for your body. Maybe you're in a forearm plank, heels pressed back, trying to come parallel to the ground, but lifting the hips up so you're not letting them sink down. So taking a breath here. And then we're going to drop the knees, opening through the knees, heels coming together, and just sinking back down and lengthening here, coming into a child's pose. Again, pausing here, finding that space for the body and the mind that you need, and breathing. You can walk the hands over to the right side, left hand on top of the right, and just drop the head down, finding length through that left side. And then walking the arms back over to the left this time, right on top of left. Head down. Taking a couple of breaths here. Calming back through center. We're going to come up into a tabletop, spreading the fingers. Inhale, looking forward and up. Exhale, rounding here. So cat-cow. This is cow, looking up. And exhale, rounding cat. Taking a few breaths. And another. Calming to center. Right leg is going to come back behind you, lengthening. Exhale, bringing knee in towards the nose, rounding through the back and stepping the foot forward, reaching the arms forward and all the way up here. Finding hands touching. Maybe you can interlace the fingers, having the index fingers pressing up into the sky one more time. Breathing here, maybe bringing the arms behind the ears and lengthening, finding your pose, pausing here and notice where the sensations are. You're going to then bring the hands, exhaling, down to heart center. Taking the left hand on the outside of that right knee, right fingertips coming back, finding a twist here. Looking over the right thumb, using the hand on the knee to help you twist and breathe and pause. Inhale, calming through center. Exhale, other side. So hand comes on the inside of that knee, twisting the other way. Taking a breath or two here. Excellent. Hands then come to heart center, bringing the hands on the outside of the feet for the moment. We're going to end up actually bringing them inside and we'll just come down. So this is where you might need a block or some books or something, or just stay up on your hands. But the one way is you can bring your forearms down onto a block, or you can come down onto the ground. There's not a right or wrong way of doing it again. If you want to take this a little bit into a bit more of a stretch on the back leg, you can lift the knee, the back knee, and breathing here. Pressing the back heel back if your knee is lifted. And then that knee is going to come down. Calming back up, we kind of come into a pigeon pose. So we're going to open up the hip. That foot comes out to the left side. Knee is opening up here. Trying to keep the hips even here because the tendency is to come onto one side. Puffing up the chest like a pigeon. Now you might bend through the back knee and see if you can bring that leg in. Again, you can use your strap to help you to pull that leg in. So breathing here, taking a breath and pausing. Then releasing that leg, calming on down any amount. Letting go, pausing again here. Releasing through the jaw, maybe moving the jaw from side to side, releasing through the shoulders, letting go. And then slowly coming on up, tucking the toes at the back. Right leg comes back to meet the left. Coming into plank pose here for a moment, or you can drop your knees, listening to your body. Taking a couple of breaths here. We're going to come into a downward facing dog, pressing the hips back and up. You might bend your knees a lot to press those hips back and up to get length, and there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I highly recommend it for those who have lower back issues. Or you can plan to straighten your legs any amount, your choice. Taking a breath here. And then coming back down on the hands and knees. Other side, Left leg is coming out behind you. Inhale. Exhale, knee in towards nose, rounding here and stepping the foot forward, pressing the hips forward, reaching forward and all the way up. Again, interlacing fingers, index fingers coming up, reaching back behind the ears and taking a few breaths. Exhaling, hands can come to heart center. Right hand outside of knee. Left fingertips coming on back. Opening, twisting, breathing here. Inhaling, center. Exhaling, other direction. Coming back to center. We're going to bring the hands down on the inside of the foot. You can come down any amount here using blocks, books, whatever you might need, or just using your hands to lift you up if you need a bit more space. Staying here, or you can tuck the back toes, lifting the knee, pressing the heel back behind you. Breathing here. Knee can come down now. You can come back up with your hands, walking the foot over to the edge of the mat, opening through the knee. If this is really challenging, you can bring the heel in towards your groin area, or you can sit up and come into a figure of four, which I can show you briefly, just bringing ankle over the other knee. So again, listening, there's always options. And then you can bend through that back knee, bringing that foot in. And again, it might not come in, so just see if you can lift it off the ground. If that's where you're at, that's fine too. Breathing here. Pigeon pose. King pigeon with the knee up. Puffing up the chest. And then finding a way to relax down here. Shoulders relax, jaw relaxes. Taking a moment. Pausing. And then you can slowly come on up, bringing the hands down, spreading them wide, tucking the back toes, coming into your plank pose here. Heels press back. Hips lift, but not very much, so just not sinking down, finding your plank. And then pressing back, downward facing dog. Again, you can bend your knees any amount or straighten them, your choice, but trying to find length from the wrists all the way up to the sits bones. Now we can take one inhale here through the nose, and then exhaling out through the mouth. Ha. Inhale, nose. Exhaling, mouth. Ha. One more time. Inhale, nose. Exhale, mouth. Ha. And then slowly walking your feet one step at a time to your hands. Folding forward here, bending your knees any amount, bringing the chest to the thighs, letting your head just hang. Your neck is not doing any work here at all. Allowing it just to hang like a piece of ripe fruit on a tree. You can shake your head no, you can nod your head yes. And then you can bring your arms to the side, bending the knees a lot. And bring your arms all the way up, hands touch. And coming into a really nice little back bend here. Exhaling, hands coming to heart center. Just closing your eyes for a moment. Pausing, slowing down the breath. Slowing down your heartbeat. we're going to come into an eagle pose. So you're going to take your right foot and lift it up. So left foot is your anchor. And you might just cross it over the other foot and use it to place on the ground. Or you might bring it around the other leg, arms come out. And then the left comes over the right. So the hands, if you might want to hug yourself, or you might bring your hands together, pressing elbows forward and fingers up. So you're going to come down any amount. You might be wobbling, that's okay. Just being patient. It just takes time just to be patient, to be kind. It takes practice to do these things. So just finding patience and compassion for yourself. Breathing here as you find yourself in this eagle pose. One more breath. And then you're slowly going to come out of this pose. And I'm going to turn because you're going to be at the front of your mat. And then I'm going to move and unwind that right leg. And then I'm going to step it back behind me, coming into a warrior one pose with the elbows pressing forward, fingers going up, knee on the front is bent, and the back leg is straight. And then maybe coming into a back bend here, lifting through the chest, finding a back opener here, or a chest opener, being gentle, being kind, slowly calming on up, releasing the arms, letting them just come down, and notice how your shoulders feel. Interlacing fingers behind you, pressing down and back, finding openness in the chest. And exhaling, folding forward, lifting up through the arms. Taking a breath here. And slowly finding your way up, pressing arms down and back, and then releasing. Hands can come to heart center. You're going to lean forward, coming into a warrior three, variation here, and then stepping that foot forward and down, closing the eyes here, taking a deep breath. Couple more like that, slowing the breath down. So we're going to do the other side, this time the left leg, and I'm just going to turn so you can see me. That left leg is lifting, and you're going to twist it around the other leg. Arms are going to come out, and then the right comes over the left. You might give yourself a nice hug, or you might bring your hands into eagle arms. Pressing elbows away from you, fingers up to the sky, squeezing everything in towards midline, and maybe coming down any amount, maybe coming forward any amount, finding your eagle pose and breathing here. Slowly making your way up, unraveling the left leg, lifting it up and stepping it back behind you. Finding your warrior one, front knee bent over the ankle, back leg straight, pressing elbows out, fingers up to the sky, and maybe finding a little back bend here. Again, pausing anywhere you need to, breathing and noticing how this feels. Inhale, calming on up, releasing here, interlacing fingers, pressing them down and back, opening through the chest. Exhaling, folding forward, lifting up. Inhale, calming on up, pressing down and back again. And releasing the hands to heart center. You're going to lift up through that back leg, trying to keep the hips even. And bringing the foot back down, closing the eyes here. Palms come forward, noticing how you feel. Deep breaths in and out. Excellent. So you're going to come down into a squat here. So you're coming down briefly. The feet, you might be able to get the heels on the ground. If you can't, you can roll your mat up and then place that rolled part of the mat underneath your heels. You're trying to press the elbows into the knees or to the thighs and really open up here and get a really long back. So getting length through your back here. Now we're going to play a little bit with a balancing pose here, and you might want to find a few books or blocks if you have them, and you're going to come in to trying to find a triangle here with your hands. So what happens here is that we tend to want to bring our fingers too close to the blocks, but we want to come up with an equilateral triangle and bring them quite far away. We're bringing the knees up here into the armpits, and then we're just leaning forward so that forehead's going to come onto the blocks. I'm not doing anything else right now. I'm just leaning my forehead there, and then I can work to lift up through the feet, and maybe I can look up. So it's just playing with that. And this is a really good way. If you've got something here, then you don't feel quite so fearful that you might fall. So playing again. So again, I'll just talk you through it. Hands are quite far away. It's an equilateral triangle. Lifting the knees up here, leaning forward. So part of the challenge is really finding that lean and lifting up. And then working the core to lift the feet. And then, whoops, finding the wobbliness is okay. It's part of the practice. And lifting up. So that's what we're playing with. It's a good one to play with. Right. So something you can play with at home. So it's building up the confidence to work on this pose. So we're going to come down onto the ground. And we'll work here with boat pose. So we're going to just play with lifting up one leg and maybe lifting up the other. What you want here is a super straight back. So you're finding length in your back, lifting or lifting. You might bring both legs up and find that pose. Inhaling here and exhale. You might lengthen down, hovering, inhaling, coming back up. Notice the pause when you're in the pose and you're staying in that pose for a little while. Notice the challenge and exhale, finding that length. Inhale one more time, lifting. And then exhale, coming down. And then just noticing you've put in all the effort and now you can just relax and find the pause. Just notice your connection to the mat. Breathing deeply through the nose. So you're going to come into happy baby. So that right foot is going to come up. You're bending through that left knee. So with this pose, you can grab onto the outside edge of your foot if that works for you, or anywhere on your leg, it doesn't matter. But we're trying to bring the feet up flat to the ground, to the sky, and knees are coming either edge of your body. So trying to play with this pose, you might find you can move from side to side here. giving your lower back a little bit of a massage. You might grab onto your big toes and play with lengthening one leg or lengthening the other leg. And then it's your choice here. You can, first of all, if you'd like, you can play with dropping your knees again, as we did, from side to side with the feet mat's width distance apart. If you want, you can pause a little bit more on one side. You can close your eyes and go a little bit more inwardly. Deep breaths, pausing after that hard work of the class. And maybe moving the knees over to the other side. You can look over the opposite direction from your knees. And then coming into center. Your choice here of coming into Baddha Konasana with the feet together, knees out wide, relaxing the shoulders down. Or you can come into Shavasana with the legs about mat's width distance apart, feet just fall out to the side, palms face up about 30 degrees from your body. So Shavasana is one of the main poses in yoga, and it's all about the pause. And sometimes it's really hard for people to pause and be in Shavasana. As I mentioned, it's difficult sometimes to be with ourselves. We're not used to it. Or we beat ourselves up a lot and we're not kind to ourselves. So if you notice any of that self-criticism going on, see if you can change the dialogue and come up with something kind and compassionate instead. But give yourself a gift. This is a gift to just be here in stillness and not have to do anything. You don't even have to control the breath here. You can let go of control of anything and just feel your body in contact with the ground. Feeling gravity pulling your body down towards the center of the earth. Closing the eyes if they're not already closed. And just be in the moment. Finding a little bit of movement in your body, maybe wriggling your fingers or your toes, maybe reaching the fingertips up overhead, finding length between toes and fingers. You can straighten your legs out if they were in Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose. And then bringing your knees in towards the chest, giving yourself a final hug of the class here, having your back. And rolling onto your right side, you can bring your right arm underneath your head as a pillow if that feels good. Just pausing here for a moment. Feeling the ground beneath you there to support you. And breathe, bring yourself up into a seated pose. Finding length through your back. Hands just resting on your thighs. Taking a pause before we finish off the class. Checking in with your body and how it feels. physically, emotionally, and mentally. And then bringing the hands to heart center. We're going to inhale, reaching out to the sides and all the way up to the top. And exhale, bringing hands back to heart center. Inhale, reaching out and up. Hands touch. Exhaling, hands to heart center. One last time, reaching out and up. Exhaling, hands to heart center. Finding gratitude towards yourself for taking the time for your body and mind today. And then bringing your hands up to the third eye center. It was a pleasure guiding you through your practice. Namaste.